All right, thank you so much for staying with us. The program is still Business Rendezvous. Of course, we're reaching you live from Benin City, South Nigeria. Well, ahead of the MPC meeting of the CBN next week, that's the Monetary Policy Committee meeting of the CBN, there are indications that the Apex Bank is planning on another rate hike, interest rate hike, by the way. And, well, experts are also saying Nigeria already has the highest interest rates in the world, among the highest in the world. And they are saying that will really portend a major negativity for the banking sector. I've got Mr. Austin Adigwe is an economic analyst. He's a close watcher of the system. He will help us to have a better understanding. If going by what we saw, is anything to actually hold on to, what that will really portend to the banking sector. Good morning, Mr. Austin. All right, thank you for joining us. I'm sure you are aware that the MPC meeting will hold next week.
Yes.
Okay. So going by the report coming through that maybe one of the decisions that the Apex Bank is looking at is, of course, another interest rate hike. I don't know what you make of that.
Well, that would be very unfortunate. You know, right from when this whole trajectory of raising interest rates to match cost push inflation began in May, I had always said, and I still maintain, that the wrong move. It has always been a wrong move, except for the purposes of making government securities more attractive so that we can continue to borrow. But for economic reasons, it's the wrong move.
So you are saying there should be no reason whatsoever for the CBN to go on that path?
Yes. If the whole essence is fighting inflation, okay, if the essence is fighting inflation, then they are applying the wrong they are applying the wrong policy if it is to fight inflation, because experience has shown that cost push inflation, okay, can only be fought by policies that aim at reducing production costs. Your policies will be on the supply side, all right?
Okay.
So it against the escalating cost of production, which of course you know, partly is also caused by the CBN. A systematic devaluation of our naira, okay, has also created a lot of hardship even for manufacturers that depend on imports for their factor inputs. So when you devalue your naira, when you devalue your currency, as a net importer, you are costing yourself. So they created all these problems. And you also know the surging cost of energy. You can just imagine how much people are buying petrol in this country at the moment. These are all areas that government ought to look at. What is fueling this escalating cost of production? Insecurity is also there. So it's not all about just liquidity, mopping up liquidity in the system. That is never the solution.
Okay.
Let me just give you a short history.
Okay.
In May, CBN took the MPR from 11.5% to 13%. But after that time, inflation was just for 17.71. And they told us that this measure would help to curb inflation. However, in the next meeting in July, inflation has moved to 19.64. Again in July, I expected monetary authority to have realized that this path is not the right path, okay, to fight inflation. Again, MPR was moved from 13 to 14%, and by the next meeting in September, inflation has adjusted to 20.77. In September again, it was moved from 14 to 15. By November, inflation adjusted to 21.47. In November, it was moved from 15.5 we are just behaving like serious people that don't even know that policies are meant to achieve certain macroeconomic objectives. And even if we have gone wrong and we are seeing that this policy is not working, we should make a U-turn. But let me quickly tell you something. CBN is deliberate about what they are doing. Nigerians should know that they are not fighting inflation. What they're trying to do is to make government securities more attractive so that Nigerians can buy into it. Treasury bills. You can imagine what Treasury bills is doing now. The rate. It makes it more attractive to invest in government securities than even invest in manufacturing. And why is that so? In November, just November 2020, remember that Fitch rating downgraded Nigeria from B to B minus. The implication is that we are just about notching away from defaulting in our external obligations. That again has put our creditors on notice because we are now at par with countries like Ecuador, countries like Angola, in terms of our ability to honor our obligations. So that is not the sort of rating that the giants of Africa, the biggest oil producer in Africa, should be having. Okay, so that alone means that this federal government might not be able to borrow as much as they would have loved to. Okay, they might not be able to borrow external loans as much as they would have loved to because of all these rating downgrades. Also, in the same 2021, World Bank governance indicators also show that Nigeria has fallen, okay, to 17.2%. And the whole rating is based on what? Weak institutional capacity that now exists in this country, uneven application of rule of law, and high level of corruption. So these things are going to change the way our foreign creditors. So government and CBN, they understand that they can now resort to domestic borrowing. And for you to resort to domestic borrowing, you must raise, okay, the returns so that it becomes more attractive to the detriment of growth, development, and to Nigeria.
Okay. Okay.
We closed the year 2022 with mystery index of 62.4%.
Yeah.
Mystery index, the level of hardship that people, the level of economic hardship that people feel. In 2015, it was 15%. But we closed 2022 on 62.4%. It's a sorry situation. Okay.
Mr. Austin, quickly, I mean, in December 2022, we saw a little reversal in the inflation figures from 21.74% to 21.34%. All right? So, if you're a member, of the MPC, what would you rather recommend? I mean, going by the little slide in the inflation figure that we saw for December 2022.
Yes, inflation is up by just less than a %. Okay, it's more than not incentive for us to continuously increase cost of production by increasing cost of credit. So what we are saying, these things are simple. We are facing inflation. All right. For example, food inflation is not because of it. Nigerians must eat. But what are the major drivers of food inflation in Nigeria? Insecurity is there. Multiple taxation on the road is also a factor that government can also look at and deal. If you see all these people bringing in food items from different locations, okay, to probably Lagos and Abuja and so on and so forth, you find different layers of groups attacking these vehicles, collecting money, collecting fines that we don't even know where to place them. At the end of the day, these items get to the market and all these costs be factored into it. Is it liquidity that is driving this thing up? The answer is no. Now we talk about even liquidity. Yes, we want to
Yeah.
Ordinarily, that shouldn't be. So I can't really see the liquidity that are popping up in the system. They should begin to ease, because when you increase the NPR, what you're simply doing is you increase the cost of borrowing. You make borrowing less attractive. Then you increase the returns on particularly fixed income investment, which is like your treasury bill. So you are simply saying, I want to move investment away from the real sector to the financial sector. Meanwhile, if you're facing inflation, you needed to support your productive base more, so that you can now begin to produce at a lower cost, have more goods and services, which consequently will begin to see us reducing prices. Now, to talk about inflation, to prove to you that Nigerian inflation is just shared mismanagement of the process, we have other OPEC nations. Let's not even go outside Africa. Within Africa, we have OPEC nations of African descent. What is their inflationary rate? Algeria has 8.4% inflation. Algeria is in Africa. What magic did they do? The windfall gain from oil prices in 2022 was, of course, maximized by all these other countries except Nigeria. Let's look at Congo. Congo's inflation rate is 8.44%. And Gabon of all nations, 5.8%. And Nigeria is celebrating inflation that is up from 21.43 to 21.34. That's laughable. We should just get zero. They don't need to continue on this trajectory. It is not the right measure to fight cost-push inflation. That's the bottom line.
Okay. Mr. Austin, just before I let you, the alarm, I'm sure if you follow through, of course you must have been following through, the alarm raised by the IMF that a third of the world's population will sink into recession in 2023. I don't know how you want to react to that, what the Apex Bank can actually do, even at this their meeting, to ensure that Nigeria does not fall victim of that.
Of course, what they've been doing since May is a recipe for recession. It's a recipe for economic downturn. So, if I were the position of monetary authority, I would need to look at the options available to us, right, to stimulate production, to stimulate manufacturing. And part of those options is not to increase the cost of doing business. Okay, in countries that understand how all these things run, by this time you begin to think of, as a government, you begin to think of revaluation, because it was wrong in the first place to have devalued your currency. Currency devaluation fails if you are a net exporter. So you begin to think of what revaluing your currency, so that prices of goods and services, because we will have very strong or high import elements in our manufacturing inputs, so that you see the cost of production begins to drop. In some countries, you begin to look at, healthy employers to even pay part of their wage bill. What you're just trying to do is to reduce cost of production. CBN should focus on reducing the cost of production, so that prices will begin to come down. Okay, our purchasing power parity has been messed up. All right, but if they continue on the path they have stayed on since May, Nigeria will hit recession even before the projection of water. So they should ease up. In any case, the fiscal authority has sustained deficit financing. That is expansion monetary policy. It's the biggest problem we also have in this country is that there is no congress, there is no unity between fiscal policy and monetary policy. We want to begin to see that commonality. We want to begin to see that consonance between the monetary policy and the fiscal policy.
Mr. Austin, time will not permit us to continue this discussion, but definitely I want you to join us again. We want to have a conclusion to this particular discussion, because there are a lot of thoughts, there are a lot of experts' thoughts on whether the CBN should retain, whether they should retain the current interest rate, or if they lower it, it will also have a negativity, especially for investors. So we'll look at all of that, but time will not permit us, Mr. Austin Aduge. Thank you for coming through this morning on the show. All right, that was Mr. Austin joining us via Zoom all the way from Lagos, helping us to look at the implication if the CBN actually go ahead to increase the interest rate ahead of their MPC meeting that will be coming through next week. All right, let's take a break here. We're back on the other side to conclude the program this morning. Stay with us.